Hello and welcome to today's yoga teachings. In this session we'll be focusing on a technique that's known as Uddiyana Bandha, and that can be translated as the abdominal lock, the abdominal suction. Uddiyana literally means the upward flight and Bandha is lock. So what's happening here is we're using the abdomen and creating a suction in the abdomen to draw the energy up. Therefore the upward flight of the energy is rising to the higher energy centers. This is one of the most powerful techniques that a beginner can do to help move their energy to the higher chakras, the energy centers. And this technique works specifically with the navel chakra. And this chakra, or this energy center, is related to the element of fire. And just as fire sends the heat up, a strong Manipura chakra or navel chakra creates a fire that is used for transformation, and it sends the energy up into the higher centers. When we do this practice, we're using the abdominal suction to literally draw the energy from the first two chakras, the root chakra and the second chakra, Svadhisthana chakra, and send that energy first to the heart, then to the throat, to the third eye, and even to the crown. Now in the beginning stages, we just focus on sending the energy up. But as you get more practice and more advanced in this technique, you can focus on the energy center that you want to send this energy to. So this is a very powerful technique that allows us to literally change our emotional state as well as our energetic state, because our emotions are also governed by our lower three chakras. Most of the negative emotions that any human beings have reside here in the lower centers, the energy centers. So by doing this technique, you can literally change the way you feel, and it's excellent to do this first thing in the morning, because it's absolutely necessary to do this with an empty stomach. You can't do this with any food. You can't suck that stomach in if there's any food in the belly. Now we're going to go into a deeper explanation of how to do the practice. First, I just want to explain the technique. And if you haven't seen our video on the introduction to bandhas or the locks, please go back and check that out, because that will help to give you an even greater understanding of how to move into this practice. Now, when I do this practice, I come to a standing position, I lean forward, and I take an exhale through the mouth, and then I pull the stomach in and up. I'm not flexing my stomach, I'm not trying to create a six-pack, I'm creating a vacuum. And that vacuum is what pulls the energy from the lower centers to the higher centers. And we're gonna take a moment to show you exactly how to do this. And just remember that this is very powerful for balancing the sympathetic nervous system. And that is the nervous system that helps to deal with stress. And as we know, this modern world is full of stress, and many of us have a lot of stress in our lives. So by doing this practice, it balances the part of the nervous system that deals with the stress response. Thereby, having that conditioned sympathetic nervous system allows you to not overreact. It allows you to deal with stress in a more balanced way. So you can see there's a lot of different things that are happening here. You're building a heat in the body, and it's also very powerful for activating the digestive system. When you activate this lock, you are enhancing your metabolism and your digestion. So for those of you that would like to balance your weight, this is another powerful technique from yoga that guides you into burning that fire that helps to burn the fuel and will decrease the excess fat in the belly, literally. Now, when you move into this practice, be prepared that you'll feel perhaps energy rising, and this is a natural sensation. The idea of sublimation, again, I come back to this important part, is moving the energy from the lower centers to the higher, and this is also a very important part of the tantric sexuality practice. Learning how to move your energy up is part of learning how to guide your sexual energy, of which we have a great abundance, into the higher centers. So there's many layers to this practice, and all of them are beneficial not only for the physical body, the abdomen, all the organs in the abdomen are literally massaged by this technique. The energy, burn that fire, get the energy rising, incredible technique for purification. And it also changes your emotional state. And as you do this, you're activating what's called the second gut, or the second brain in the gut. We have the brain in the head, and there's what's known as the second brain in the belly. And there's as many types of, we could call, cells that are similar to the cells in the brain down here in the gut. So you're stimulating those as well. So you can see this is a really powerful holistic practice, working with the body, the energy, the emotions, and the mind. So this in itself can be a standalone practice. If you do this for 15 rounds each morning, you're going to feel that you don't need coffee, you don't need stimulants, and you're wide awake. You do it before your morning breakfast, before you drink anything, and then you move into your day fully charged, wide awake, and ready to move into whatever activities you have to go into that day. So all these techniques that we're sharing with you, they're not just about yoga, it's about quality of life. It's about fulfilling your potential and having the best day, the best emotions, the most balanced state that you can, so that you can take on the challenges that we all face in our day-to-day living. So I hope you can understand that this is worth the experiment if you haven't done it before. And if you have done it before, we're going to guide you through the technique in our next section of this video and refine your practice. So let's go into the practice. Okay, now we're going to go into the actual practice of the abdominal suction. There's some key pointers that we all need to be aware of as we start this practice. The first thing is the feet. You want to keep the feet not hip width apart, but shoulder width apart. You need a nice, wide, strong foundation. The feet are parallel, and if you look at the second toes, that helps you get your feet into alignment. When the second toes are parallel, that helps to get the feet in the right position. Then we're going to bend over at the waist, and there's two different possibilities for the hand positions. Number one, placing the hands with the fingers facing in. And this is the optimal position because this helps to open the upper back and it helps to open the chest. When we turn the hands this way, which is the second possibility, you tend to collapse a bit in the chest. So it's not as, we could say, beneficial as the first, but some people have wrist pain from doing this. So if you feel that your wrists are disturbed by this, you're welcome to turn the fingers out. And always remember that the hands should be above the knees. We don't want to put pressure on the knees because if you're doing this for days, weeks, months, and literally years of your life, you're putting too much pressure on the kneecaps. So the hands should always be just above the knees on the thighs. And we want to lock the arms, not with muscular effort, but just straighten them. Because if the arms are bent and you're using the muscles to keep your body upright, guess where the energy is going to go? It's going to go into your arms, and that's not our intention. So remember to make the elbows straight, and you want to keep the spine also straight. So you're not rounding. It's even just slightly concave, just a little bit bent towards the floor. And we keep the neck in line with the spine. The head's not hanging down and it's not lifting up. To imagine if you're standing, it's the same position of your neck as if you were standing. So you keep the neck in line with the rest of the spine. Now, there's a couple different parts. I'll talk you through it and then we'll practice together. The first thing we do is inhale through the nose, a nice full inhale. Then we open the mouth and we exhale and get all the air out. You even give a few extra puffs at the end to make sure you clear the lungs. The lungs have to be empty to do this correctly. So I'll show you again. Feet hip width apart, hands above the knees, elbows straight. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth, bend forward. Get all the air out. Then you come back up and you do not breathe in. The lungs are empty. So after you exhale, you keep the lungs empty. You come up, arms are straight again. Now I do what's called an abdominal suction. It's like a false inhalation. You're going to breathe in, you're acting like you're going to breathe in, but you don't actually take that breath. And what that does is create the suction in the abdomen. So let me show you what that looks like by lifting the shirt. So as I bend over, you're going to see what the abdominal suction looks like for the first time. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Now I don't breathe in. Then I release the belly and I inhale through the nose. And after I inhale, I hold the breath again. Belly's relaxed, I'm holding the breath in lungs, and I'm just observing, and I may feel the energy already starting to rise here as I hold the breath in. And I stay for a few moments, and when I need to breathe again, I open the mouth and gently release. Now, if your wrists get tired, you're welcome to stand up between rounds, but be careful, it's possible to get lightheaded. So if you get lightheaded, you come down and place a hand on the floor or a knee so you don't pass out. This is a strong technique. You're moving energy and things can happen, so you have to be very cautious. So let's go through one more time before we actually build the practice together. I'll talk through the steps and then we'll do a few rounds together. Feet hip width apart, shoulder width apart, hands facing in or out, and we take a deep breath in through the nose Exhale through the mouth. Do not breathe in. The lungs are empty. I come back up, arms are straight, and now that my lungs are empty, I do what's called the false inhalation, like I'm going to breathe in. I'm not tensing my belly. I'm sucking my stomach in and up towards the heart, and it looks like this. Now, the next step is very important. When you can't hold the breath anymore, and maybe it's only for a few seconds in the beginning, don't worry about holding for too long. You never want to create stress or strain. When you feel you need to breathe, there's then 2 important steps. Number 1, relax the belly, let it sink to the floor. Number 2, after relaxing the belly, then inhale through the nose. Because if you try to do both at the same time, you get and all the strain on the system. So remember, after the abdominal suction, part 1, relax the belly to the floor. Part 2, inhale through the nose, fill the body with breath, and hold and stay still. And just simply look within yourself and observe the effects. Very often we feel heat, a sense of expansion at the navel chakra, energy rising. Then when you can't hold the breath anymore, after the inhalation through the nose, you open the mouth and take a few relaxing breaths. And we always take a few calming breaths between each round. So you're not doing round to round to round. After the round, you take 2 or 3 or 4 relaxing breaths, and then we'll do a practice together. So this is how we do the practice, and this is what I'm going to show you next, is what it looks like to do 3 rounds in a row, and then you'll understand how to do the practice. Okay, so let's start the practice rounds. Feet shoulder width apart, hands above the knees, never on the knees, either hands in or out, preferably in if that's okay for your wrists. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale through the mouth, get it all out. Come back up, elbows are straight, spine is straight, head is in line with the spine. I've exhaled, then without breathing in, I do the false inhalation and pull my stomach in and up to the heart. Relax the belly, number 1. Number 2, inhale through the nose. Stay here. Hold the breath in after you inhale through the nose. Eyes are closed through this whole practice so that your awareness is in the internal experience. I'm holding the breath in, I'm observing the energy, the fire in the belly, the heat, and the energy rising up. When I can't hold the breath in, I exhale through the mouth. Let's do one more round together. Take a deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. Do not breathe in. Lungs are empty. Pull the stomach in and up. When you can't hold it anymore, release the belly, number 1. Separately, and a second later, inhale through the nose. Hold the breath in the lungs, let the belly relax. Eyes are closed, the awareness is inside, feeling the heat and the energy rising. When you're ready and you can't hold the breath anymore, exhale through the mouth and take a few calming breaths. Now, a few last pointers. In the beginning stages, you're just focusing on moving that energy up. But when you get good at moving the energy up, you then make sure the energy is moving up through the central channel at the level of the spine. This is Sushumna Nadi, the biggest energy channel in our being. When you get good at the practice, you use the mind to guide the energy, and you send the energy into the central channel at the level of the spine. It's not a physical channel, it's an energetic channel, so it's more subtle than the physical body. You send that energy up, and the first place it's going to go is the heart. Now that's the first place we recommend to send this energy, is to purify and open the heart, releasing any blockages at this level. And eventually you can send the energy into the third eye and the crown and start to expand your level of consciousness and change your connection to the divine or to spirit. So all of these come later, but in the initial stages, just focus on doing the physical practice, sending the energy up, and don't worry if you don't feel energy yet. That will come with practice. Just do the actual technique, and the energetic benefits are happening whether you feel it or not. So just stay with the practice, and over the course of days, weeks, months, you'll start to feel more and more of this subtle energy. Your awareness gets more refined, and you become more conscious of the subtle aspects of yourself. So this is becoming a meditation in a way where you're perceiving the most subtle aspects of yourself. It's a very powerful practice, and I highly recommend you do at least 12 rounds of this each morning, more like 15 or 20, and then you're gonna feel incredible. You literally feel an uplifting of your emotions. So it's a great way to start your day. And then you go into the day fully charged, wide awake, and balanced. So I wish you all the best with this technique. If you have questions, you can send them to us and we'll answer them in time. So thanks for joining us today. Good luck.